Hello everyone, this is Mr. Civ5 and today's video is going to be the Q&A session based on the call for questions video that I posted last week. Had a bit of trouble with this video, had some problems recording, then had some problem encoding. Hopefully I didn't have any problems uploading it, but I don't know it quite yet. So yeah, I didn't get that many questions asked in the call for questions, which I am actually happy about. It means that I did my job well, that the tutorials were effective, and that people learned the game from watching those. And so if there are not many questions, that's cool. To me, that just says job well done. But there were a couple of questions that I want to answer. The first one that I'm going to answer fairly quickly was actually posted in the comments of another video. And the question was, which civilization should you play if you want to win each different type of victory? My honest, unbiased opinion about that is fairly simple and straightforward. Play any civ you like, because there is no civilization that gives you an overwhelming advantage in any area of the game. And really, I mean, there are 5 types of victory in Civ 5, but that's kind of misleading, because whatever type of victory you go for, you'll always be doing the same thing. You'll be fighting people next to you, trying to take over their city to expand your empire. You will be trying to get a lot of gold so you can get influence with city-states, or purchase things, or upgrade your army. And you'll be trying to get some sort of technological advantage over other people so that you have more advanced units in buildings, and, you know, fighting spearmen with infantry type of a situation, which doesn't really happen when you're playing at normal difficulty or higher, but still. And so there's the bonuses I find in Civ 5 are very, very well balanced. There are a couple of exceptions that I think are a little too strong or too weak, but there's really no single Civ that stands out as being the Civ that you have to play. If you remember back in Civ 4, financial civilizations were pretty damn good because of the extra gold they got, but there's nothing quite as good, I think, in Civ 5. So having said that, there are some Civs that give you slight advantages in different aspects of the game, and so I'm going to go over them. And this should be fairly obvious if you've played with some of them, but if you're still fairly new, this might help you, depending on what type of advantage you want to get in the game, which type of aspect you want to favor. So obviously, if you're kind of want to favor fighting ability, if you want a civ that's pretty good at fighting, because you are thinking of going for a domination victory, everyone knows it, the Japanese with Bushido are at a significant advantage. Units fight as though they are at full strength, even when damage, that's really good. The Japanese also get one very good unit, the Samurai, if you like to push in the medieval era. With longswordsmen, samurai are pretty good. They give you even more great generals, and they start the game with the open terrain bonus, the shock promotion, plus 20% combat strength in open terrain, so that's pretty good. And then the Zero's an okay unit that comes in fairly late in the game, and it's not necessarily a game changer, but it's a fine unit. So the Japanese, probably the best civ for fighting, but not too far behind them, I would argue, are the Chinese. Not because of the Chukonu, it's a decent unit, not because of the Papermaker, obviously, but because of Art of War, the effectiveness and the spawn rate of great generals is increased. So you get great generals a lot more often as the Chinese, that's fine, but the effectiveness increases where the money's at. For a normal civ, great generals increase the combat strength of nearby units by 25%. For the Chinese, that's 45%. It's almost 50%. It's almost like you're fighting riflemen with infantry. Even if you have your own riflemen, that's the kind of bonus that 45% is. So even if the other guy has a great general, you're still 20% ahead, and if he doesn't have a great general, then you're 45% ahead. So depending on the situation, the Chinese and the Japanese have their own advantages. It really depends on which one you prefer, and I would argue that the Songhai are not too bad either. Getting the extra gold from pillaging cities and from farming barbarian encampments at the start of the game, very, very good. Mandikalu Cavalry is an okay unit. I like it. It's very good for taking over cities. But the gold is really the big focus if you're playing the Songhai. You will be able to use that gold to purchase a lot of units, a lot of buildings, and most importantly, keep your army up to date by upgrading it very easily. It's not uncommon to have like thousands of gold by the medieval era, the Renaissance with the Songhai, if you're playing fairly aggressively and taking over other people. So that's kind of the fighting domination aspect of the game. If you're going for a diplomatic victory or for a space race victory, you have to focus on technology or gold making. Obviously, the Babylonians get a free great scientist when they discover writing, and then they earn great scientists a lot faster. So obviously, if you stack wonders that give you great scientist points, you can get a lot of great scientists, get a pretty big technological advantage. So I like Babylon for that. The unique building and the unique unit are nothing amazing. I guess they're okay. And the other civ that I would suggest you pick if you are going for a diplomatic or space race victory is the Arabians. The trade caravan's unique ability is nothing amazing. +1 gold per trade route is okay, but it's not that much gold. Oil resources providing double quantity, very much a late game thing. Not bad, but not great. Camel Archer, okay unit. So why am I recommending them? The Bazaar, which is a replacement for the market, gives you a second copy of a luxury resource when you have a bazaar in the city nearby. So you have cotton, you get a second luxury resource, a second cotton resource when you build the bazaar instead of your market, and you can use that resource to trade with other people to get all their gold. If you are the only person that has access to cotton, you are getting, first of all, double the cotton from the bazaar, so you can trade all those resources to a ton of people to get luxury resources back, or to get a lot of gold, or to get strategic resources. It's just very, very useful. You can accumulate a lot of gold, and then eventually with that gold either make friends with city-states or make a lot of research agreements to boost your technology. I would not recommend that you pick the Greeks if you're going for a diplomatic victory, because people are probably going to think, oh, Hellenic League, it helps your influence with city-states, but you don't necessarily want to have allies throughout the game. You really want to become allies with a lot of city-states at the end of the game. Once you're about to get the globalization technology and about to build the United Nations, that's when you want to become friends with people, and so Hellenic League doesn't really help you much in that. Patronage is going to help you a lot more than Hellenic League will. So that's it, and if you are going for a cultural victory, there are obviously a couple of civs that you want to have a look at. The Aztecs, not very good. The culture gain is nothing amazing. It starts off with +3 culture per kill, and then it increases by 2 for every era that you advance, so I think it's like +11 culture per kill at the end of the game. Unless you're really killing like one unit every turn, which you will not be doing anyway, you won't get that much culture. It is not an amazing unique ability. I think it's probably one of the weakest unique abilities in the game right now. Jaguar is a warrior replacement, blah. Floating Gardens, excellent building, excellent, one of my favorite unique buildings, but overall the Aztecs don't go for them if you're going for a cultural victory. You could go for the Egyptians instead. Same thing, again, they have a May unit, they have a May unique building, but they have an excellent unique ability, +100% production towards wonder construction. Stack that with oligarchy and stack that with marble, not oligarchy, aristocracy. In the tradition policy track, and then stack that with marble, you are going to be able to make wonders extremely fast. And then the last one that people might consider for culture is France with Napoleon and Ancien Regime, +2 culture per turn. It is not an amazing amount of culture. Again, it's kind of like the Aztecs. It's very, very small. At least it doesn't require any management at all. It doesn't require that you be at war with people all the time like the Aztecs. But I did the math on it. It's not amazing, and will probably let you get your cultural victory something like 5 turns earlier than other people would. Nothing amazing in my eyes for the French. And then the other civs are very much a personal preference type. So maybe you like the Russians because you like the Krapost and you like the bonus production. That's up to you. Maybe you like the Persians because of the Satrap's Court, which is a bank that gives happiness, and then the bonus to Golden Ages because you like to get a lot of Golden Ages. That's good. That's for you. Maybe you like the Americans like I do because they have the +1 site and they have cheaper tiles. That's fine. Play something, a civ that you're comfortable with, whose units you like, whose unique ability, more importantly, really jives with your playing style. That's what is probably the most important, I would say. And so that's the answer for this first question. The second question that I wanted to answer was that one posted in the comments of the actual video. And the question was, can you give us any examples of build orders that you can follow at the beginning of the game? If you're not familiar with the lingo, a build order, that I think that comes from StarCraft, is a series of actions that you should take at the beginning of the game, so which units to build, which technologies to follow, etc., to get the most out of your civ, if you will, to get the best possible start. Unfortunately, there's just so many variables to Civ 5. Civilization is really not like StarCraft. There's just so many variables in terms of resources, in terms of starting position. It is very, very hard to give a definite build order for anything. And so I'm going to kind of try to walk you through the beginning of the game, and there are a handful of decisions that you can make that will influence the kind of how quickly you get off the ground. But again, there's really nothing that's set in stone, we'll say. It's really, Civ 5 favors kind of adaptability, making sure that you follow the optimal path to exploit the resources that are close at hand, the ones you start off with, and then making sure that you explore, that you kind of identify potential expansion points, and so on and so forth. Because there are no minerals or Vespene gas geysers to tell you where to expand. You really need to figure it out on your own. So the first thing you should do when you start a game, before you even settle your city, is first of all, look around. See what type of resources you have close at hand. That will let you know which technologies you need to research first to get access to those resources. And so I can see here there's some deer, which requires trapping. Same thing here with ivory. That also requires trapping, so I'm pretty sure that the first tech that I'll go for is animal husbandry, and then probably trapping, so I can get access to both of those resources. My worker can, start off by building a farm here, and then, maybe chopping down the forest here, or clearing the marsh. So if my worker comes out before I have trapping, it's no biggie. He'll have work to do elsewhere. And then I see here that I have silk, which requires calendar, so it'll require me to get pottery, and then eventually after that calendar. So I've already identified my resources and what I need to research to get access to them. If I'm looking at the terrain, this is kind of a bad spot to start. There's a couple of mountains here, and mountains are unworkable. They don't give you any production. You cannot work them in your citizens, so that's a little bad. And then there's desert to the west here, and tundra here to the northwest. Very bad spot. I am not a big fan of the starting location. This is probably not a game that I'll play to the end, but it's just blah. Nothing really amazing. I'll have to explore to find a better position very soon. And now, before you also settle your city, you do want to move your warrior around to get a quick look at the terrain around you, because there's a chance that maybe if you can get some advantage by moving your settler just one hex, or moving it a couple of hexes away, and then get access to some additional resources, or get away from some shitty terrain, that could be an advantage. And I am playing as the American, so I do have Manifest Destiny, which gives me +1 sight from military units, so that's a little easier time scouting. Unfortunately, I can't move my warrior here in the first turn because there's marsh here, and I can't really... I know this is tundra here, so this is really nothing amazing. I know that already. There's really nowhere great that I can scout with my warrior, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and there we go. So there's more silk. I know there's some fish here. So I could possibly move my settler to actually be next to be a coastal city, but that will delay the creation of my city by 2 turns if I decide to move here, because I don't want to move here. There's some snow up here. This will be even worse. So if I move here, I would still have access to the two resources here. I'll have access to both silk resources, and I'll have access to wheat, but this will take me 2 turns, which is a pretty big delay. I am not sure that I want that. At the same time, though, this is really not good. You know what? I'll move my settler. So I am delaying the creation of my city by 2 turns. That is a big deal for me. I would usually not do that in a normal situation, but I have to pick a better spot. See, there's desert and hills up here. This is really not good. So I delayed the creation of my city by 2 turns, so everyone else is 2 turns ahead of me. It does mean that I'll have to kind of pick up the pace. But I'm fairly confident that I got some better terrain by moving here. There's a lot of forest here that I'll be able to chop down, some plains. So this is, I will consider this an improvement.